Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about something that's really important, and it's what I learned recently at a mastermind that I went to with my networking group. And it's talking about your word is your bond. And this is it is a very important aspect that a lot of people kind of flag over, don't worry about, they just don't pay attention to, and they don't acknowledge it. They don't realize the amount of value that it holds. So keeping your word and having your word as your bond is really important, because it's going to build the respect around yourself. It's going to build the respect that people have towards you. It's going to build your self-respect. It's just going to improve your life tenfold. But it will take time to kind of create the reputation that you will be the person that keeps their word. And it's difficult in a way, because you have to either stay quiet, don't say much, and when you do say something, you stick to it, or if you do want to just keep talking the way you do, you're going to be doing a lot of things for a lot of different people. So the first thing is pretty much just shutting up and keeping your mouth shut, so that you're not constantly doing tasks that you said you would do. But I feel like it's very important to know, and just to notice that your word is a massive part of your reputation. It's how people will come to think of you if you keep saying you're going to do things, if you keep saying you're going to do this, do that, bring this, go work out, whatever it may be. If you keep saying you're going to do it, but you never actually hold to that word for someone else, then people are going to realise that they can't trust you. They'll lose their trust in you. They won't realise that, they'll realise that they won't be able to have trust in you. They won't be able to count on you when it comes down to it. And that's a real shame, because a lot of people, you could be able to count on them, but you won't think that you can, because of them not being able to hold their word, them not being able to do what they say they're going to do. And it really does make a huge impact on relationships as a whole, whether it's how people think about you because of how you've acted, because of how much you say you want to do but you don't end up doing, or how you'll view yourself. And that's another huge aspect of this, a huge area that keeping your word will make a difference on. If you can keep your own word consistently, then you will have so much more self-respect and confidence in yourself, because you know that whatever you say you're going to do, you do. You go out, you get it done, and you don't fail. So when it comes to a big goal, saying, for example, I'd say, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire, then let's say you've completed everything else you've ever said you're going to do, and you say, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this much money, I'm going to reach this landmark, this goal, I'm going to do it. And then when it comes to it, you realise, I've done everything else, this is just another step for me. I know I can do it because I've done so many things before, and I've kept my word. This is just another thing I have to do. And you understand that because you've done it so many times previously. You've understood that it's not about the end goal, it's not about the reward, it's about the journey, it's about learning the process and what you learn about doing along that journey. And the journey is very important as well, because you don't know what the end result may be. You don't know what the end result may bring, what your desire. You can choose the action, but you can't choose the consequence. That's one thing. You can choose what you do to get that goal, but you can't choose what comes with that goal. You could make $1 million a month, but what do you get with that $1 million a month? What responsibilities, what comes with that $1 million a month? What do you have to do extra? How much time do you get to yourself? Do you see your family often? Are you not friends with your family? Did you sacrifice it all to make that money? What happens when you sacrifice things? There's so many different aspects that people have got to take into account, and you can't choose the consequences of your actions. But you can choose the actions, and you can choose to keep your word. And that's going to bring about so much more self-confidence that it's almost easier for you to manifest and complete your goals. And it's also going to be easier for you to be respected and viewed as an equal by other successful people. you're going to have other people that have kept their word, have worked extremely hard throughout their whole life. They've reached this stage where they're looking to help people, and they see you. And imagine there's two versions of you. There's the one that worked hard and kept his word every time. And then there's the other one who keeps saying he's going to do X, Y, and Z, but never gets around to it. Now, if someone that's rich and experienced and has done everything, they're knowledgeable, they're wise, if they're looking to mentor someone, they're not going to look for you if you're that person that says they're going to do stuff, that doesn't apply what they learn. They're going to be looking for the person that's constantly working hard, looking for new ways to improve, looking for new things to learn, looking for new ways to get better, to get to that next step and next stage. And by doing that, by keeping your word, by constantly saying that whatever you say you're going to do, you will complete, by doing that, you're going to build a reputation around yourself that will surpass the people that you know and go to other people that you haven't met yet. And when they come to know you, they will realise that he keeps his word. He does what he says he's going to do. And it's amazing, because that's going to help you progress so much more. And as I just said, like, your actions and your word are things you can choose, but the consequences and results are not things you can choose. I can choose to call however many people a day if I was on a cold calling job, but I can't choose how many people pick up and accept the offer. I can choose how many YouTube videos I make, but I can't choose the amount of people that watch the video. I can choose how to react in a certain situation if I'm in an argument, but I can't choose how the other person will react and how it will affect me long term, how it will affect the relationship long term. That's such a big point that people miss, is that there are so many different things that they have a choice in that will change things long term, but they don't take a second to think about it, to take a step back and just analyse what's going on and make the right decision before it's too late, because you can choose the right decision. There isn't always a right decision, but there is a best decision. You can always make the best decision. Just take a second to analyse what's going on, and that will lead to the best outcome. But it's not always going to be that clear. You're going to have to spend time thinking, okay, what did I do wrong? You're going to have to spend time learning from your mistakes and analysing what you did wrong and what led to this situation. And that's what's going to provide the growth, not the end result of making 10 grand, 100 grand, $1 million a month. It's going to be looking back and thinking, I learned all of this. I now have this skill, which is way better. I have this, and this. I've developed these things. I've learned all of this. And now if I didn't have the money, I could start it all again and make the money back. And that's the thing. You need to understand you can always make more money, but the memories that you have, the experience you have, the knowledge, the word, your reputation, that cannot be bought back. You must spend time just constantly improving those things, improving your experiences, your experience in your area of expertise. You must spend money, spend time improving your knowledge in aspects of life, and invest in yourself so that when it comes to looking back and having all that money, you can say, I went about it the right way. I've got all these different aspects and different skill sets now. So if I were to lose everything, I could start it over again and get back to this position. And you've got to understand that. And your word is such a big thing, because if you were to lose everything, but people knew that they could trust you, people knew that they could come to you for help and advice, and they knew that if they asked you to do something, that you would keep your word, you would do what they've asked, then they can trust you, then they would help you. But then again, it's down to who you spend your time with, who you actually trust, who the people are that you're friends with, the most important people in your life, your best friends. Who are they? How do they make an impact? How do they express who you are? How do they represent your points of view, your experience, your knowledge, your opinions? How do they express that? It doesn't mean they have to be exactly the same as you. It doesn't mean they need to think the exact same thing on every situation, but you need to have a similar point of view so that when you're spending time with them and you have to leave the room, they still represent you to a degree that holds up your reputation when you're around other people. So just remember that your word is your bond. What you say is what should keep you in check. If you say you're going to do something, then you have to make it your priority to go and do it. And if you feel like you've got too much on your plate because you're saying too much, then quieten down, say less, listen more, figure out what other people are saying, keep them to their word instead. Make it more difficult for them to constantly barrage you with attacks of their opinion, their complaints and compliments, whatever it may be. You've got to start almost attacking them with what they say they're going to do. Say, oh, you said you were going to do this, you haven't. I thought you were going to do that. Just point it out to them and they'll understand that eventually they've got to either get their shit together or get out of your life. Because the people that are constantly being so negative around you, not keeping their word, not keeping their mouth shut, constantly harassing what you do and saying, oh, that's not worth doing, you shouldn't do that, this isn't the right way to do it, when they have no experience in it whatsoever. They aren't the type of people you should be around. You need to find new people. But having a good reputation, having a good strong word as your bond, that is going to be what helps you build the right relationships with the right people. And as I said, you can choose your actions, but you cannot choose the consequences. But if you can choose to make the right decisions day in and day out, then you're going to be in the right position at the end of your life. You're going to make it, but you've got to make the right decisions.